so I was hoping that he would, help me, help my reputation out. Like you kind of feel a little bit that like my social brand was on the line there, like looping in 4 or 5 dudes who didn't really know what was going on. It's like, well, if these guys think this thing sucks, it's like they're going to associate me bringing them here with like my judgment on what I deem is good.
The one thing, I mean, we can break down, I think it was helpful to just be on the other side of it with that rep we did a demo with yesterday. If you want to break that down, I think that'd be a good pod episode.
Yeah, I think that is a good segue. Kind of showed me, like, I don't think he was bad by any means, but it also showed me like things that if I was in his shoes, like what I would have wanted as a customer, and like,
yep,
even like being the champion in a sense, like you kind of feel a little bit that like my social brand was on the line there, like looping in 4 or 5 dudes who didn't really know what was going on. It's like, well, if these guys think this thing sucks, it's like they're going to associate me bringing them here with like my judgment on what I deem is good. And like, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't going through my head a little bit as he was showcasing things. And it almost, and I don't know if this was like a me thing too, but it was like, I was putting like my brand and like my reputation on him to like promote things to you guys too. So it was like, not only like was it on me bringing you guys in, but it was also like, it's like, fuck dude, like hopefully this guy does a pretty good job. Like, so I was hoping that he would, help me, help my reputation out, if that makes any sense, And so, it was kind of it was a weird dynamic of like, oh, like this is what it feels like when, you have one guy on a call and the next call he brings on 4 or 5 other people. It's like, okay, like you're not just, like he's putting his, social reputation in the company on the line. And if you think about it from the terms, like if I would have looped in Jed or, whoever, like our CRO or VP, it's like, damn, that's even more so. Like, so it just put things in perspective of like, making it as much about them as possible. And
yeah, that's crazy. I hadn't really thought of that, but
yeah, it was a weird feeling.
Yeah, you are the champion in this scenario of somebody selling to you, and it's your job to champion it internally. It's something that we want as AEs. But you had a call with him, went well enough to schedule another call with more people on it from your side. And you're saying that you were like wanting him to do a good job so that you looked good.
1,000%.
That's wild. Yeah, I would never have thought about that like that.
Yeah, because then it's like because if I do that again, like let's just say that went horrible, and you're like, probably at some point in the line there, like, oh, like Jake might have bad judgment on what he thinks is good for AE. So it's like the next time I find something that is good, and it might be genuinely good, and I loop you guys in, you might be less inclined to partake in that meeting or a POC. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there was a weird social dynamic at play that I don't really know how to describe, but
yeah, I mean, it's almost broadening a little bit. Your personal brand in the company is going to there's going to be consequences to your personal brand, either good or bad, by you bringing us to that meeting or potentially bringing our VP or CRO to that meeting. And I hadn't really thought of that as a seller. I guess I consciously knew that and have heard that, and like that makes sense. But to feel that in this situation is very interesting.
And it almost makes me want to deploy the tactic of using that as leverage for like deals itself. So like if I am on a demo and it's just one guy, and the next call he's bringing on 4 or 5 other guys, almost doing like a sync call before that, and being like, hey, I've been in your shoes where I've had to loop in other team members for that next call, and I know it can feel like you're putting somewhat of your reputation on the line. Like, would you mind walking through just maybe what these guys care about and what they would want to hear, just so like one, they get the most out of it, but then two, like it makes you look good as well, that you found something worth value that they might be able to benefit from. I think if you position it like that, of saying like, hey, I've been in the shoes of these calls going really bad as a champion, like I want to, for my own, like for your benefit and mine, make the most out of this for the people hopping on. And so I've never, obviously, like it just happened, so
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of made me rethink of like, okay, if I was really in their shoes, like being able to recap the previous call that we just had, like, hey, like this is what we've heard, these are the things you guys are dealing with, this is what you guys want to see, being able to validate that, and just before even showcasing anything, like what I was struggling with might not be what you were struggling with, or Matt, or
Mm-hmm.
whoever. And so being able to hone in on, like, Jake talked about these two things, and then they talk about two other things, being able to like piggyback what I was doing into that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it definitely, hopefully it helps with my selling experience too. But